Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to jump into this with you today because we're looking at something literally every developer using AI tooling needs to have on their radar. Today, we're popping the hood on Anthropic's latest update to their terminal-based coding agent, Claude Code version 2.1.23. We're going to break down exactly what this update actually means for your daily workflow, looking right at the release notes to see how this tool is evolving right in front of us.
So right off the bat, let me ask you, what is better than a shiny, brand new headline feature? Well, as any dev who has ever spent hours just wrestling with their own tooling will tell you, it's a tool that actually works flawlessly when you need it to. That is the ultimate win, right? This release isn't just slapping a new coat of paint on things. It's really about those deep, under-the-hood transformations that turned a decent tool into a rock-solid daily driver. Just take a look at this quote straight from the changelog. It says, "If you use Claude Code for anything beyond simple single-turn interactions, this release is directly relevant to you." I mean, that's a pretty massive statement. It totally validates why we're digging into this today. Because if you're building complex systems, or you're letting agents run in the background doing deep multi-turn problem-solving, this update is 100% focused on giving you the stability you need to actually get your work done.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our quick roadmap for today. Section 1, the reliability update. Section 2, new visibility features. Section 3, fixing background agents. Section 4, performance and memory gains. And finally, Section 5, UI tweaks and next steps.
Starting with Section 1, the reliability update and why stability is king.
To really get why this update is such a big deal, we quickly need to talk about background agents. These are those sessions that run in the background, which you can attach to or query later on. Now, while you're not going to see some massive, flashy new UI button in this release, making sure these agents don't get in your way is an absolutely massive quality of life win. Because if you're doing serious development, you rely on these complex, multi-turn workflows running behind the scenes, right? And they are the absolute core focus of the bug fixes rolling out in this version.
Moving into Section 2, new visibility features. Removing the guesswork. Okay, so before we get into the heavy bug squashing, let's talk about a couple of new features designed to give you much better insight into what Claude Code is actually doing. Picture this, and we've all been there. The old way, your authentication expires and your background session just silently dies mid-task. You come back an hour later and your agent is just dead in the water. So frustrating. Well, the new way? Claude Code actually detects when your auth is about to expire and gives you an advance warning prompt to re-authenticate. The sheer pain relief of no longer losing a complex session just because of a quiet login timeout, it's huge.
Oh, and here's another really neat little visibility tweak, the manual permission mode badge. It's just this simple gray pause icon sitting right down in the footer. It's a tiny addition, sure, but the great part is you instantly know what mode Claude Code is in, without having to stop what you're doing and go dig through your settings. You just glance down, spot the pause icon, and boom, you know manual permission mode is on.
We've also got two absolutely stellar tooling enhancements here. First, the VS Code extension gets a brand new settings toggle, letting you easily enable or disable remote control across all your sessions. Super handy. But the real standout, that's the MCP root support. Additional working directories are now exposed to connected model context protocol servers through a root/list call, and the servers get alerted to any changes via a list_changed notification. Look, if you're building custom MCP-based tooling, this seamless directory syncing is literally a game changer for your workflow.
All right, Section 3, fixing background agents, the unsung hero updates.
We are now officially getting into the real meat of the release, the serious bug squashing. Anthropic took a hard look at the bugs accumulating in background agents and just went to town. Let's rapid fire through these major headaches that have finally been cured. Number 1, sessions that went permanently unresponsive because of stale daemon tokens. Boom, they auto-recover now. Number 2, returning to your agents used to silently kill running subagents and wipe their work. No more. That work now carries over properly. Number 3, Windows users. Your background agents used to inherit a stale path from the daemon, which hid all your tools. Now it pulls the correct shell path. Number 4, missing an environment variable used to send API keys to the wrong endpoint and trigger a 401 error. That is fixed. And finally, if a working directory gets deleted, the agent won't get stuck in some crazy, endless crash loop. It just fails once, cleanly, with a readable error.
And macOS users, man, I know you have been feeling this one. Back in version 2.11196, a regression slipped in that caused these agonizing 15 to 20-second stalls whenever you tried to open or switch background sessions. It was triggering a false low memory detection.
Let's be real, staring at a frozen terminal for 20 seconds when you are deep in the zone feels like an absolute eternity. Thankfully, as of right now, that stall is completely history. Fixed.
Section 4. Performance and memory gains. Let's quantify these wins.
This brilliantly illustrates Anthropic's focus on optimization. I mean, it's one thing to vaguely say an app feels faster, right? It's another thing to look at the hard data. Here is our first major win, a solid 7 megabyte reduction in the binary size. We're talking a leaner, lighter application footprint straight out of the gate.
But wait, actually, scratch that. There's another minus 7 megabytes right behind it. This time, it's a 7 megabyte reduction in startup memory. How'd they do it? By taking a massive bundled dependency and lazy loading it, instead of trying to inline the whole thing right at startup. It's a really smart architectural shift that just pays off immediately for your system's resources.
And it's not just the footprint. The CPU and memory regressions that were totally bogging down the UI ironed out. For instance, the context usage indicator isn't going to force a reanalysis of your entire conversation transcript after every single turn anymore. Plus, live preview updates during those long streaming responses won't trigger full-screen re-renders. Ultimately, this means your machine stays cool, the fans aren't spinning up like jet engines, and everything stays buttery smooth even during your most complex workflows. Finally, Section 5. UI tweaks and next steps. Cleaning up the interface.
Okay, just to wrap up, there are a few minor navigation and launch flow changes you'll definitely want to know about so you don't get caught off guard. First, a little muscle memory adjustment. Hitting the left arrow key won't close your background task, diff, or workflow detail views anymore. From now on, you're going to use the escape key for that. Simple enough? Also, if you had a missing or broken Claude command, those startup warnings used to really clutter up the launch flow. Now they've been tucked neatly away into these /doctor and /status commands. It just makes the whole boot up process feel so much cleaner. So, where do we go from here? Well, if you want the full plain English manual to really see how all these moving parts fit together, you should definitely head over to claudemaster.net. It is absolutely the definitive resource for learning everything from your very first setup all the way up to those advanced background agent workflows we've been talking about today.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer on Claude Code 2.1203. Anthropic has successfully removed the friction, squashed the bugs, and stabilized those all-important background agents. So I'm going to leave you with this. Now that the friction is basically gone, and the tool is ready to just get out of your way and let you work, what complex workflow are you going to automate next? Thank you so much for learning along with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.